Horror can be extremely limiting, but the best filmmakers in the genre know how to explore cinematic violence in a multitude of ways. The duo of Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, aka Radio Silence, have proven with films such as Ready or Not and the recent Scream reboot that they are pros at both maximizing gore and humor with a steady dose of tension to keep audiences on their toes. Abigail is everything they do well, all rolled into one extremely funny, extremely gory, wildly entertaining package, while also showing that they could also make an awesome monster movie too. Loosely inspired by Dracula's Daughter, the Universal Monsters 1936 quote-unquote classic, it's pretty terrible honestly, favored by screenwriters Guy Busick and Stephen Shields, Abigail is everything the trailer promises and more. It is indeed about a group of clueless crooks who kidnap a ballet-dancing, bite-sized child vampire. But that's only the beginning. Played with gusto and Megan-like dance skills by Alisha Weir, the titular kiddo comes across as the innocent child of a rich and attentive businessman. The crew of quirky criminals, all with clashing personality types and various levels of professionalism, snatch her straight away from ballet class, scooting away with a minimum of fuss. There are rules to this little game, naturally. Giancarlo Esposito brings his typical suave authority to the role of Lambert, the brains behind this operation. There are to be no real names, no cell phones, no personal info shared between them. The hard part of the job is over, and now it's just babysitting inside of a giant gothic mansion laid out like a maze. 24 hours later, they'll all be $50 million richer, and nobody has to get hurt, right? I mean, that's always how it works in the movies, right? Nobody ever gets hurt. The whole getting to know the characters bit is a big part of the fun, because it's woven in so seamlessly. No big information dumps, thankfully. Most of what we learn comes from their individual actions, and a scene where the protective Joey, played by Melissa Barrera, the controversial ex-star of Radio Silence's Scream movies, figures out everyone's sordid past. There's dim-witted hired muscle Peter, played by Kevin Durand, who takes way too long to figure out they've all been nicknamed after Rat Pack members. Rickles, played by William Catlett, pretty impressive in a small role, is the serious-minded military sniper. Sammy, played by Kathryn Newton, is the cute computer hacker who has caught the eye of drunken, troublesome wheelman Dean, played by the late Angus Cloud. And then there's Lambert's second-in-command, Frank, with Dan Stevens playing a control freak with a violent streak, a role he's become pretty good at playing, and he's done it many times. For good reason, he's good at it. There's no twist in learning that Abigail is secretly a hungry vampire, but it's also not quite so simple. There are swerves galore as the blood gets thick and the crew starts getting picked off. You're dealing with a bunch of bad folks, and while some are more sympathetic than others, like poor, stupid Peter, they all have self-interest at heart, which makes their attempts to work together pretty hilarious. Throw in that they're trying to figure out what actually works against a real vampire, and their survival instincts are comically skewed. In a nice bit, Sammy mistakes onions for garlic, a potentially fatal vegetable mistake. Abigail ramps up the campiness and B-movie goodness in the final stretch, with so much gore it literally explodes all over the screen. There's so much it can make some moviegoers a bit queasy, which is exactly the right sensation to have. It's pretty gross. While the conclusion is a little too sweet and perfect considering all that we've just witnessed, Abigail sinks its teeth into you early and has you hoping this junior vampire ballerina comes out for an encore. Abigail is in theaters now, and it gets a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.